In today's lecture, we will learn difference between centripetal force and centrifugal force. Centrifugal and centripetal force. These are the two important forces when there is a rotation of any kind of body. And among all these two forces, centripetal and centrifugal, one of the important force, centrifugal force, that we have to consider in case of belt drives, in case of rotation of the belt drives. Centrifugal force. Centrifugal force. So the belt runs continuously over the pulleys, and when the belt runs continuously over the pulleys, some centrifugal force is caused, is created. And what is that centrifugal force? That first we have to understand. Before that, we know that what is meant by a force. Force is nothing but equal to mass into acceleration. This is as per Newton's second law of motion, and we know this formula very well. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. But here we have to consider, one is centrifugal force and another is a centripetal force. As we know, in case of belt drives, the two pulleys, driving pulley and the driven pulleys, are rotating continuously because of the movement of the belt. And in that particular rotation of these pulleys, some kind of centrifugal tension is created, and this centrifugal tension creates the centrifugal force. Centrifugal tension creates the centrifugal force. As we know, in case of belt drives, there are two types of tensions that we have seen. One is called tight side tension and a slack side tension. But because of centrifugal tension, centrifugal force is created, and this centrifugal force is to be considered or is to be determined along with centrifugal tension in the analysis of the belt drives. So let us understand first what is meant by centripetal force. What is meant by centripetal force? In this particular figure, you will see the both of these forces. Here you will see the centripetal. Here you will see the centripetal. Here you will see the centripetal force, and on the opposite direction you will see centrifugal force. You will see here centripetal force, and here you will see the centrifugal force, and a ball is rotating in a circular path with some velocity. So this figure indicates the location or the presentation of centripetal force and centrifugal force. So what is centripetal force? Here you will see the definition of this centripetal force. This is a centripetal force. It is defined as the force which acts to keep an object moving on a circular path and is directed towards the center of the circle. As you can see here, this force, centripetal force, is acting towards the center. It is acting towards the center of the circle, and it is the centrifugal force is the force which acts to keep an object moving on a circular path. So this centripetal force is responsible for the rotation of the ball, because it keeps that ball in a rotary motion in a circular path. Then what is meant by this another force, which is called as a centrifugal force? The here centrifugal force, we can define here centrifugal force like this. It is defined as the force is an extremely imaginary force experienced by an object that moves in a circular path away from the center of rotation. As you can see in this picture, this centrifugal force is acting away from the center of rotation of the circle. So here we can define centrifugal force as the force, an extremely imaginary force experienced by an object that moves in a circular path away from the center of rotation. So centrifugal force is acting away from the center and centripetal force is acting towards the center of the circle. So centripetal force is the force required for the circular motion, while centrifugal force is the force that forces an object to escape from the center. So because of the centrifugal force, an object will be escaped, or the object will escape from the center, बाहेर निघून जाईल सेंटरच्या तो ऑब्जेक्ट. So centripetal force consider a real force and has its effects on a real life, but centrifugal force is considered an imaginary force, but it is also a real effect. Let us see what is the direction of centripetal force. Centripetal force causes a direction to rotate towards the center, and centrifugal force causes a direction to travel straight without turning. So centripetal force, as what is the observation? This is seen from an internal frame of a reference, and centrifugal force is seen from a non-inertial frame of a reference. The formula for calculating the centripetal force is F is equal to mv square upon r, and to calculate the force, centrifugal force, the formula is also the same. So F is equal to mv square upon r, but this force is going to act in opposite direction to the centrifugal force, and if it is a centrifugal force, then it is going to act opposite to the direction of centripetal force. So centripetal force and centrifugal force are in opposite direction. The example of centripetal force is the moon orbiting around the earth, and the example of centrifugal force is the vehicle slide off the while making a turn. The vehicle is going to slide. So this is the example of centrifugal force. So applications where the centripetal force is applied: in a roller coaster, it makes a sharp turns along the ends with the help of centripetal force, which prevents it from moving away from the track. And example or application of centrifugal force, we must have seen the ride of the gravitation, in which the centrifugal force gives a pleasure to the rider by making him feel in the air. So this way we can differentiate between centrifugal and centripetal force, in that centrifugal force is important in calculation of, in the analysis of the belt drives. Thank you very much.